Right. Hello there. I'm George from Ireland. This is yet another video. I'm on a roll this evening, and this one is about surgeons in the United Kingdom refusing to work overtime. They're doing their major work. So let me explain the situation. So, in the UK, the National Health Service has existed since 1998, a publicly funded health service, and really anybody who's resident in the United Kingdom, whether a citizen or not, is entitled to avail himself or herself of it for virtually all medical services. There's private healthcare as well. If you wish to pay, you're entitled to go private. Not many people do. I've done it myself only occasionally. Not go into it a bit too much more about the NHS. But the surgeons in the UK, they usually work for the NHS. Now, they're allowed to take private patients on top of that, and most of them do. So that's that. So, what's the youngest age at which you could be a surgeon, really a fully fledged surgeon? We'd have to be 30. So, these are exceptionally gifted people. Obviously, getting into medicine full stop is extraordinarily hard. Obviously, they have to be very academically bright, and having had that aptitude is not only that, have to have the right personality. It's a grueling course, an emotional assault course in a sense, to qualify as a doctor in the first instance, and then there's that career path of surgery. So, the thing is, there's been some change to the tax arrangements. I don't quite comprehend the particulars, but if you look into the minutiae of it, you'd see that the arrangements in relation to pension pots have changed. Don't ask me, ask somebody else. It's all public domain information. But anyway, that's rendered the whole situation less eligible than it was before, and therefore working overtime is less profitable than it was heretofore. And so many surgeons, they're doing their statutory or contractual minimum, and that's it. They won't do any more for the NHS. They'll just relax at home, or they'll do private work or something like that. So, anyway, I submit that this is a dreadful situation. And the surgeons, they can't be obliged to do more work, and obviously they can easily leave. They're exceptionally talented people, very, very highly qualified. And there's so many exams. It's so difficult, so stressful. I remember reading in The Good Psychopath, one surgeon saying, this is a blood sport. Playing safe is actually not going to make it safer for the patient. You have to take reasonable risks because you're performing an operation. Supposedly, you'll make the situation better for the patient, could be a better outcome, all right? There's a small chance it could get worse. To minimize the risk actually doesn't really help. Means if there's any gain at all, it'll be small. So you've got to go for it. You've got to be a bit ballsy. Hi there, Ben Perryman. Not wishing to be chauvinistic about it. Obviously, a woman can be as ballsy as a man. It's not about being masculine. Perhaps it's in opposite metaphor, but there we are. So, anyway, what this work these surgeons do is absolutely critical, and they save lives every single day. So we can't thank them enough. And yes, they're highly paid, and they deserve every last penny. There are also some people who paid a huge amount who don't deserve it. Television personalities, Piers Morgan, take a bow. Particularly anybody who works for BBC, it's a public service broadcaster, about which more later. Banker wankers and so on. So all they do is they move money from here to there and back again. I mean, they're not that socially useful. But your life could be saved by a surgeon any day. My life could be saved by a surgeon tonight. Is it worth it for me that they get paid well? Yes, it is. I don't begrudge them any of their money. Whereas a lot of the people in the financial sector, yes, I do. They might get better off by hurting everybody else, and sometimes do, indeed. So the United Kingdom government ought to do anything it can to keep these surgeons sweet. How can we keep them happy? And well, as long as they're on side, that's good news for the general public. So we could change the tax arrangements or the pension pot tax or whatever it is. We could make an exemption for surgeons but have the same tax as before for everybody else. I don't really care what it is. Pay them whatever. Do the needful. There are only a few hundred of them in the entire realm. So that's that. And it's worth it. It's worth every penny. The Exchequer can survive missing out on a few pounds. We could tax people more here. We could have some financial retrenchment in the other sector. Do whatever it takes to keep the surgeons working their magic. So that is what I have to say to you about surgeons in Her Britannic Majesty's realm. And this is going to be an uncharacteristically brief one. Brevity is not my forte. But I shan't witter on needlessly. There has been sufficient to do already. Because you know me, I'm a motor mouth. I can come out with verbal diarrhea anytime you so wish. So I shall cut it short now, though it goes against the grain. No wither on, precisely. All right, I'll keep stum. I'll shut up now. Enough from me. That's that. I'll move on to other things. No more hot air. But it seems, for me, it all seems a bit wrong to end too soon. No, I mean, you should. All right, I'm drawing it to a close. So, clean the wax out of your ears. I'm just trying to shut up. Give me a moment. I can't get a word in edgeways with all these comments flowing in from people. What else? I'm filled with the Spirit because I have partaken of spiritual liquor, as you can possibly deduce from my mannerisms, my pronunciation, my speech isn't overly slurred. It always scintillates in me and intrigues me to see to what extent I can articulate properly, enunciate things well, whilst I'm under the influence. And here you see Guy Fawkes video. Well, I made one last year, so you can possibly look that up. The one I made around November the 5th, and again, November the 5th is coming around rapidly. I've already heard people setting off fireworks, these feux d'artifice, because they're celebrating, the fact that the gunpowder plot was thwarted. All right, so I shall log off now. So please support me on Patreon or watch me on Andy PayPal, georgecallahan79@gmail.com. Patreon, likewise. What else? Because it's the gift that keeps on giving. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Find me there. Book me as a tour guide in London. I tutor people online for GCSEs, A-levels, International Baccalaureate, university entrance interviews, things like that. I tutor people in English literature, English language, English as a foreign language, philology, history, geography, politics and government, religious studies, law, and so forth. Anything in the humanities. Accountancy is not quite my bag. All right, toodle pip, peace out, keep it real, be safe, booyakasha, and Jah live.